Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for listening today. This particular audio is about when my child isn't like the rest. And it is taken from a chapter of my book, chapter 17, When Mothers Cry, on page 183. So if you have the book, I will be referencing that today. And also, I have a special treat for some of you all. I have someone who has a background in special education, more specifically high school students that are in IEP programs. She is a cousin of mine. Many years of experience working with children that have some challenges, and you will get to listen to that interview today. So please do continue to listen. I've got some good information coming up for you. So those of you all who do have the book, we are going to be in chapter 17, When My Child Isn't Like the Rest of When Mothers Cry, page 183. I will read an excerpt and then discuss. When someone notices your child tends to do things differently than other children and tells you about it, a mother thinks about everything from what am I doing wrong to how do I get help for my child. I remember the first time I noticed my 2-year-old, baby number 2, he was walking around in circles, observing his hands. At first, I didn't think nothing of it. I assumed he was just curious about his body parts. However, when it became more than an occasional occurrence and longer than 5 minutes, I became concerned. The next year, the peculiar behavior seemed to steadily increase. I spoke with my child's pediatrician, wondering if this behavior had anything to do with his history of seizures as a baby. He had 11 in a single night. I told him I noticed my son's progression seemed to slow since having the seizures. He attempted to reassure me, saying all children have some kind of quirk and that I shouldn't be concerned. I walked away feeling no comfort. Later, more seizures came, about once a year until he turned 4, and then they went away. I was told by the doctors that saw him that seizures typically occur with some children under the age of 4. The doctor explained that these children will have a sudden spike in temperature due to a cold or ear infection. The rapid change in body temperature creates the seizure. As one doctor put it, when a child has a seizure, the brain is like a computer. It shuts down and then it needs to reboot itself. I asked the doctor, with all the shutting down and rebooting, couldn't he have some things wrong with him later in life? He told me, no, there's nothing to worry about. I walked away feeling uneasy once again. Now, that excerpt is to set you up for now. What is happening now to that little child? Well, that little child is now a teenager. And I will tell you that over the course of those years, since him having those seizures, he has shown all sorts of interesting behavior. Some which had caused many problems for his father, where he had to be called off of work to come up to the school, not because of seizures, but because of behavioral issues. Not only that, his communication skills at times do not measure up to what a teenager's communication skills should be. He is talking about things sometimes that have nothing to do with the topic at hand. Sometimes he has trouble following basic instructions. But you know, the doctor said that it's not an issue. It's okay, basically brush you off. Your mother's instinct when you know something's not quite right. In addition, he's also maturing at a very, very rapid pace for his age. Now, since then, there has been doctors and there's also been teachers who have found various things wrong with him. But my point is this. Early on, this mother knew that there was something wrong with her child. And professionals couldn't pinpoint anything. It wasn't until once he got older that the odd things started really showing up. I will tell you that if you have a child that's under the age of 4, most of the time the doctors are going to brush it off because it's no big deal. But then after the age of 4 and things start really showing up in their personality, now out comes the testing. Out comes, all sorts of criticism from relatives and so forth. I can't make him behave. I don't know what's wrong with him, blah, blah, blah. But of course, nobody is going to put their money where their mouth is to get the type of treatment to help you and your child. No, but they will complain a lot. So I want some of you all to take that time out to look at some of the things that you might be doing that could add some stress to the situation, because you already know that something's not quite right. But sometimes what we can do as mothers is add some unnecessary stress. The disciplining of a child who has a mental handicap is different from the way you would discipline, dare I say it, a normal child. Okay? And that was something that over time I had to learn, that the hard discipline, harsh types of, statements made and getting upset, no, that's not going to work. Another thing, you have to adjust their diet, because a lot of times I will tell you that food does play a part, and you will hear from Willa where she talks about that. And then you need to be in contact with the people that are caring for the child more so than you are. A lot of parents are out working, they're doing things for everyone else. Their attention is everywhere else but on the child until something bad happens. Now they, want to do something. So please do. I want you to listen to this interview. It's not very long, but hopefully it will stimulate some thought within you to want to make some changes, possibly make some more phone calls, get on the internet, do some more research about whatever your child's situation is, see if there's any new developments, any new resources, new tools, any studies that, it would be nice if they're paid studies to help you with whatever issues that you are going through concerning your child. And also, please do take some time out to get the book When Mothers Cry. You can find that on whenmotherscry.blogspot.com. You can also go to any one of the YouTube pages at NM Enterprise 7, and you can purchase it there as well. Okay, hello, we are here with Willa, and she has a background in special education. Hello, Willa. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, if you could just give a little information as far as your background and what exactly have you done over the years when it comes to teaching children.
Well, my background is in special education. I taught I started at middle school, and I taught all subjects in middle school because you're in a contained classroom. When I got to high school, I specialized in English and math. And in teaching these children, I felt that if parents were more aware of the fact that they were individuals and had to be taught in different styles, then a lot of our children would have succeeded, more so than most. I have had excellent rapport with the parents and the students. I have gotten some of the children from special education to mainstream to college.
Wow.
Because of the individual teaching. Everybody is individual.
Mm-hmm.
We learn in different styles. You have to know what style that person can adhere to in order for them to succeed. And that's what I did. That's what I specialized in.
Okay. And going through that whole process of teaching the children, what are some key things that you notice as far as that parent involvement? Some things that either frustrated you or made you say, okay, parents really need to step it up?
My biggest dilemma was the IEP. We couldn't get parents to come, which are very important meetings so that they would know what areas the children were weak in, what they needed to do to help us help the child, and the importance of it was to have an one-on-one contact with the parent, which most of the parents, especially when they get in high school, feel that that's not important. And so we had to struggle through finding out more about the child on our own without the parents' participation in order to just look at the child as, okay, this is a student. I want the student to succeed. It's up to me to do the best that I can. But that would frustrate me, the fact that you didn't feel that the IEPs were important, which they really are.
And just for our listeners, the IEP is the individual...
IEP is the individual educational plan.
That's right. Okay. And what else was it that you found in your research or observation that made you, just motivated you to keep working with these students?
The fact that if I had 30 students and I had 5 of them that wanted to do what it was that they needed to do, it inspired me. Because you can't teach everyone. But if I could get one student to go far, then that gave me the motivation to continue. And I had more than one.
Right, okay. What was the largest class that you had of special education students?
35.
Oh, wow. And did you have an assistant?
Like I said, 35 students that I taught. My assistants were just like my children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They weren't very helpful. But in high school, you teach all areas of special education. You basically teach towards your subject more so than towards the disability of that child. And so what I would do is the students that were progressing, faster than others, I would put them together. I might give them a buddy partner. And I would work with those students to help the ones that was, kind of slow.
Right.
And then I had, like I said, I taught all categories of special needs. They didn't have to have a mental disability. They could have a physical disability. But because I taught English, then all of the students that needed my class came according to what they needed, not so much of their disability.
Now, what is it that parents need to do? Okay, they find out that their child is labeled or, has these things that are going on with them that are hindering their progress. What is it that parents should be doing to help their children become independent?
Well, like I said, the first thing I believe in, and I believe because I've had experience with it, is the sugar that is given to the kids.
Okay.
It has a lot to do with the brain, as far as the brain activities, it has a lot to do with it. You don't have to take it out totally, but just monitor it. And you'll see the difference in that child's behavior. And then I don't believe in labeling children.
Okay.
I don't believe in labeling because, like I said, I had students that were labeled learning disabled, which means that they may have had a problem with their reading or with their math. But when working with them, I was able to take them from learning disabled to the mainstream, which is regular ed classes. I had 2 students that were at the top of their graduating class. But they've been labeled and they've been placed in these classes, and people just push them to the side and find out what it is they need. And they act accordingly.
Okay.
So when I made them individuals, they succeeded.
Okay.
I have students that have even gone to college.
Wow. Now that is something, that is definitely something to boast about. What else is it that parents are failing on with their special needs children?
Like I said, as far as recognizing their needs and working with the teacher to find out what it is that that child individually needs to, progress. That the participation is the biggest key. Working with the teacher, working with the student, and finding out what it is we can do as a unit to help that child. And like I said, a lot of parents, once they get in high school, kind of like push the kid to the side. like I said, I can only speak on high school because I taught there longer than I did in the middle school.
Well, speaking of high school, extracurricular activities, is that something that you are in support of, whereas they're with the, I guess, normal students, or, I mean, is that something that you would definitely endorse?
Yes, I would, because that takes away from academia, and it allows them to be an individual, like other students. I like them to go into the art classes, into the gym classes, into the music classes, you know, pick up an instrument, and that helps the brain also. And, you know, you don't have to base everything on academics. They are just like every other child. They just need things taught to them differently.
Okay. Now, what do you say about the herbal supplements that are out there, the vitamins, things of that sort?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
The herbal supplements, the vitamins, what do you think about those?
I can't really speak on vitamins because I really don't believe in them.
Okay.
I believe in if you feed a child all of the nutritional things that they need, the vitamin supplement is not necessary. Now, if the child has some type of ailment where they find that these things are, you know, helpful to them, then as far as, you know, dealing with their doctor or whatever, I feel like, you know, you have to do what you think is best. But I'm not a believer in vitamins.
Okay. I asked that question because sometimes there is the advertising, you know, the marketing, all of these things that say, for instance, fish oil is good for the brain and you know, things like that. So that's why I brought that question up.
Well, they have some good things about it and some bad things about it. Like I said, each person is an individual, and so you can't group people together and say this is what's best for them. You have to find out what's best for that individual.
Right.
Like I said, I don't believe in vitamins. I don't believe in supplements. I believe in if you eat properly, then you'll get all of the nutritional proteins and whatever that you need for your body.
Okay. Now, are there any resources, any organizations that you can think of to refer parents to?
It's been such a long time since I've been in the field.
Okay.
But they used to have groups that, you know, worked with the parents. Like I said, I taught in Detroit, so each state is different also.
Right.
They have organizations. I haven't done any research lately, so I can't really say what's out there for the parents. But, you know, with this modern technology, you can go online and find things that you can, you know, participate in.
Definitely, based on whatever the child's need is. Right. And also include the state as well.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with us. Is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, I wish that I could have more of an input in these kids of today because there's so many of them, you know, being wasted. And I just wish that, you know, I could cooperate with others and they could cooperate with me so that we can get these kids to be decent citizens.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much once again.
You're welcome.